WUFT Midday.
As the trade war ramps up and President Trump signals he's looking to impose new tariffs on pharmaceuticals and semiconductors, the battle over his immigration policy of mass deportations is intensifying. Welcome to WFT Midday. I'm Maddox Foreman.
And I am Isabella Reynoso. Welcome to WFT Midday. On Monday, President Trump met with the president of El Salvador. He weighed in on the Maryland man swept up and deported by mistake. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest details.
This morning, the standoff over a mistaken deportation intensifying after President Trump hosted the president of El Salvador, who claimed he could not return the man from a mega prison in his country.
How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a father of three with a work permit in Maryland, was deported to El Salvador through what the Justice Department called an administrative error. The Supreme Court has ordered the Trump administration to facilitate his return.
That's the order. The order is bring him back.
But the Attorney General argues initiating Abrego Garcia's release is El Salvador's call.
This is international matters, foreign affairs. If they wanted to return him, we would facilitate it, meaning provide a plane.
The White House now saying Abrego Garcia was not mistakenly deported, alleging he's part of the violent MS-13 gang, claims his family denies.
I'm still fighting for you.
He's never been criminally charged in the U.S. or El Salvador. President Trump saying he wants to deport more migrants here illegally to El Salvador prisons, and saying the Attorney General is looking into whether U.S. citizens with violent criminal convictions could be sent there too.
If it's a homegrown criminal, I have no problem. Now, we're studying the laws right now.
The president also weighing in on tariffs, saying a new round is coming on imported pharmaceuticals and semiconductor chips, which could drive up costs for computers and smartphones. Though asked about possible exemptions for Apple products, President Trump said he would be flexible. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
The U.S. Coast Guard called off a search for 5 missing people off the coast of Florida. WFT's Manny Manguin joins us live in the studio. We understand the search took more than 7 hours.
That's exactly right. Coast Guard crews searched by air and sea covering 1,240 square miles. A survivor says the vessel had 9 people on board Friday and capsized early Saturday morning in what is suspected as a failed smuggling venture. 4 people were rescued Sunday when the search began after someone reported an overturned 25-foot boat. The 4 rescued survivors were taken by helicopter to a hospital in Stuart to get checked out. Biorescue said 1 patient has serious injuries and 1 person died. Authorities say the accident happened 29 miles off St. Lucie. Live in studio, Manny Manguin, WUFT News.
Students are speaking out after a new federal program sparked a major immigration crackdown at the University of Florida. This program allows campus police to question students about their immigration status and even make arrests. UF and several Florida schools are enforcing these rules through a federal program called 287G. It's part of Governor DeSantis' broader effort to tighten immigration rules in state schools. Many students say these policies go too far and don't belong on a college campus.
But I don't think they should have the authority to question someone's citizenship or detain or deport or anything.
Her sentiment echoes what many on campus are feeling, worried that the university is becoming more of a surveillance zone than a safe space for learning. We also spoke to students who agreed with this change but did not want to comment on camera.
As of today, the State Department has revoked nearly 300 student visas across the nation. 8 UF students are among those numbers. And just last week, a UF international student was deported to Colombia. He was in the middle of renewing his student F1 visa when he was detained for driving with a suspended license.
More than 100 parents, teachers, and students in Alachua County will meet to demand protective policies around ICE and law enforcement in schools. The protest is organized by the Gainesville Immigrant Neighbor Inclusion Initiative. Leaders will meet at the 5 p.m. in front of the ACPS School Board building and hold a public press conference on their concerns. Afterwards, they will speak during public comment during school board meeting. Initiative leaders say they want school board leaders to put protocols in place that require law enforcement to provide warrants when a student is being detained. Spring has sprung. Cool temperatures and the nice warm sun are making perfect springtime weather. WFT's Jane Bottini joins us now with the weather forecast to tell us more what to expect. Jaden, tell us more about this week upcoming forecast.
We saw a cool and dry week last week, and that's the same trend this week as well. Tonight we're going to see a front pass over us and expect some scattered showers in the area, but right now on campus it's looking pretty clear out there. Temperature 77 degrees, a little bit breezy, winds about 13 miles per hour, and we're in the 70s across North Florida right now. 76 in Gainesville and Ocala, 74 in the Villages, 75 in Jacksonville. Here's that front that's going to pass over us tonight, just causing a couple of sprinkles here and there. Mostly what we're looking at is the cooler and drier air that it will bring following the front passing over us. For the rest of the evening, we're at 80 by 1 p.m., up to 84 degrees by 5 p.m. A couple of showers expected around 7, cooling back down to the 60s tonight. Coming up, we're expecting some cooler and drier air this week, a chance for sprinkles tonight as well, and looking forward to an excellent forecast for Easter.
A federal judge refused to toss out a lawsuit filed by former Gator star football recruit Jaden Rashada. Rashada says a UF booster and officials backed out of a deal that promised him over $13 million to play for the Gators. While some claims were dismissed, the court ruled that Rashada can continue pursuing fraud and conspiracy allegations against the defendants, which include Gators head football coach Billy Napier.
More than $44 million in unclaimed property is being returned to Floridians this month. Unclaimed property is a financial asset that's unknown, lost, left inactive, or unclaimed by its owner. The most common types of unclaimed property include refunds, uncashed checks, and inactive bank accounts. In March, Gainesville residents collected more than $638,000 in unclaimed property. The highest returns went to residents in Tampa, collecting more than $8.6 million. To learn more and search for unclaimed property, you can visit fltreasurehunt.gov.
The IRS announced that it has extended the tax filing deadline for all Florida residents. Initially, the extension only applied to Florida residents affected by Hurricanes Debby, Helene, and Milton. Now, all Florida residents and businesses may file their taxes through May 1st. Here are some tips to avoid scammers while filing your taxes. File as early as possible before fraudsters can file fake returns. The IRS will not contact you through email, text messages, or social media. Make sure you work with a trusted professional service when filing your taxes. You can report suspicious activity to the FTC by using the phone number and website on your screen.
Tariff uncertainty continues to dominate Capitol Hill. Over the weekend, President Donald Trump announced that some tech devices are exempt from the tariff on Chinese imports. Tech devices like smartphones and computers are exempt from the punishing 125% tariffs on Chinese imports, though a 20% levy remains. The Trump administration's surprise move gave stock markets an early boost, though President Trump suggests the reprieve would be short-lived, with new tariffs coming on imported semiconductors.
Like we did with steel, like we did with automobiles, like we did with aluminum, which are now fully on. We'll be doing that with semiconductors, with chips.
According to the president, more details on the tariff will come over the next week.
With the Trump administration's tariff policies being imposed, some business owners in New York City's Chinatown are worried about their futures. As Linda Vaquero reports, many of those shops import almost all of the products.
At Grand Tea and Imports, a family-owned business of 20 years, you'll find a grand assortment of teas, herbs, and incense. Just as the store name implies, almost everything here is imported, mostly from China. Karen Liu is the store's second-generation owner.
Every year, we work directly with small tea farmers, craftspeople, and entrepreneurs from across China to bring authentic heritage goods back to New York.
Those goods could now face a tariff of 145%. Shopkeepers throughout Chinatown worrying about the threat of increased costs.
We've always run on thin margins because we serve a working-class neighborhood. We don't want to raise prices.
There's similar concern at Nom Wah Tea Parlor, which says it's Chinatown's first dim sum parlor, dating to 1920.
Today, dumplings might be $5. Next week, they might be $10 because we don't know what's going to happen.
A lot of our Chinese restaurant ingredients come direct from China. Even dried mushrooms, bamboo shoots, soy sauce, rice, a very specific type of rice. We're particular about our rice there. That comes from China.
Most of us don't even understand how the tariff is going to affect us, what this percentage means on prices for us.
Today, several Democrat members of Congress and the state assembly addressed the media, appealing to President Trump and their Republican colleagues to rescind the new tariffs.
Tariffs are driving up the cost of everyday goods like noodles, kitchenware, incense, and traditional medicine.
145% tariff is devastating. It is not survivable.
That was Linda Baquero reporting. Now let's take a look at our traffic on our live DOT camera at the beautiful Paynes Prairie on I-75. Traffic is moving smoothly with nice clear skies on I-75 during your lunch hour today.
We saw some cooler and drier air last week, and that trend is continuing into this week as well. We're going to see a front pass over us tonight, causing some scattered sprinkles, but not too much to worry about. Right now on campus, it's looking pretty clear and beautiful. Temperatures 77 degrees, a little bit breezy, winds about 13 miles per hour, and we're in the 70s across most of North Florida, 77 in Gainesville and Jacksonville, 76 in Ocala, 75 in the Villages, and we're warming up into the 80s this afternoon, hitting 84 in Gainesville and Ocala, 86 in Jacksonville, 85 in St. Augustine. Tonight, as that cold front passes us, we're back down in the 50s, 57 in Gainesville, 60 in Ocala, 57 in Jacksonville as well. And here's that cold front. It's going to cause us some scattered sprinkles, but mostly what we're looking at is that cooler and drier air to follow tonight into tomorrow morning. And Thursday morning lows are going to be even lower than tomorrow mornings. We're in the 40s across most of North Florida on Thursday morning. Looking at our storms we're tracking tonight, not too much to worry about, just a couple of scattered sprinkles. We can see some scattered showers, some significant cloud cover, but that's really all we're getting from this front. Just looking at that cooler and drier air to follow tonight into tomorrow morning, we're going to feel those northerly winds bring us that cooler and drier air. And our wind gusts will be a little bit higher as well, feeling pretty breezy. Today at 1 p.m. we're at 18 miles per hour in Gainesville. We'll get above 20 miles per hour tonight as that front starts to head our way. But then they settle down a little bit, which is good for us because that's when our air will be the driest. Looking at our relative humidity right now, we're at 61% in Gainesville, 92% in Ocala, but those levels are going to drop significantly as that front passes. We're down to 23% in Gainesville, 28% in Ocala, 30% in Palatka, and when these relative humidity levels reach that 20% range, that's when we can see a risk for some elevated fire danger. But lucky for us, this is when our winds are going to be the lowest we're going to see throughout the 24 hours, so not too much of a fire risk for us. Looking at our muggy meter, as that drier air heads our way, we're going to feel a refreshing week. Today's the most humid day this week. We're in the refreshing range tomorrow, in the pleasant range for the rest of the week. Our pollen levels today, we're at a medium pollen count. Wednesday and Thursday, we're at a high pollen count. This weekend for Easter, it's looking to be a beautiful weekend. We're hitting 88 on Saturday, 89 on Sunday, mostly sunny. Great time to go outside and spend some time with your family. Looking ahead for the rest of the week, temperatures 78 tomorrow, low of 57, staying sunny throughout the week into the weekend. We're in the upper 80s, sunny skies as well. Monday, we're hitting 90 and expecting some showers on Tuesday.
Now let's head over to our Noticias partners for a look at today's top stories for a Spanish language audience.
Hola, soy María Sofía Rodríguez con tus noticias en 90 segundos. Daniel Noboa gana la presidencia del Ecuador con una ventaja de 11 puntos. El presidente Daniel Noboa obtuvo la victoria con 1.16 millones de votos por encima de su contrincante izquierdista Luisa González. Este movimiento, liderado por el expresidente Rafael Correa, suma su tercera derrota presidencial en 8 años. Expertos señalan que los ecuatorianos rechazan el legado autoritario y propuestas impopulares de la izquierda. Noboa, pese a las críticas, tendrá 4 años más para enfrentar el desafío de la violencia y una economía estancada. Noboa tomará posesión el próximo 24 de mayo. UF se asocia con ICE en la aplicación de leyes migratorias. El 10 de abril, Cynthia Roldán, la portavoz de la Universidad de Florida, anunció la colaboración entre ICE y UF, el Servicio de Inmigración y Control de Aduanas de los Estados Unidos. El Departamento de Policía de UF firmó un acuerdo del programa 287G que permite a oficiales locales colaborar con el ICE en aplicaciones de leyes migratorias. Estos oficiales tienen la autorización de ICE para realizar entrevistas con el individuos que pueden determinar su estatus migratorio, producir órdenes de detención, ingresar datos en los sistemas de ICE, entre otros. Tras la revocación de visas a más de 900 estudiantes en Estados Unidos, la deportación de Felipe Zapata, estudiante de UF, y la incertidumbre de las leyes migratorias a portadores de visa F1, los estudiantes internacionales han comunicado un sentimiento de miedo al expresarse libremente sobre este tema. El presidente de El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, dijo que no va a devolver al hombre deportado erróneamente de Estados Unidos. En una reunión con el presidente Donald Trump, Bukele dijo que no va a devolver a Kilmar Abrego García, el hombre que el Departamento de Justicia deportó erróneamente debido a un error administrativo. Abrego García nunca había sido acusado criminalmente en los Estados Unidos o en El Salvador. Los oficiales del Departamento de Justicia reconocen que no debieron mandar a Abrego García a El Salvador por una orden en 2019, salvándolo de deportación. La Corte Suprema instó a facilitar el regreso del deportado, pero la administración responde que la Corte no tiene ninguna autoridad sobre esta situación. Esas fueron tus noticias en 90 segundos. Gracias por sintonizarnos.
Taxes are due, and if you've already sent in your tax return, you've likely got a refund, or you're still waiting for it. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan has tips on how to invest that money and help it grow.
If you've already filed your taxes with the IRS, you may have received a refund. So far this year, the IRS says it sent out nearly 68 million refunds. The average amount, just over $4,000. So, what should you do with that money?
You want that money to do its best work for you.
Jean Chatzky is the CEO and founder of HerMoney.com. Her first tip is to use that money to pay off any debt.
Pay off the high interest rate credit card debt. That's going to put a return into your pocket equal to the interest rate on the debt.
If you want to put that money away, Chatzky says don't just deposit it into a regular savings account.
Those accounts are paying about 0.4% interest rate.
So what are better options? She says look at certificate of deposit accounts, commonly known as CDs. It's a type of savings account that offers a fixed interest rate for a specific period of time. There's usually a deposit minimum. And beware, she says there may be a penalty for withdrawing the money.
The interest rate is 7 times that you'll get in a plain vanilla account.
Next, high-yield savings accounts. These accounts are offered by online banks and credit unions and offer higher interest rates. There's typically no minimum deposit required. Lastly, investing in the market.
The markets can go up and down, and this is money that we don't need in the short term. It's money that we can afford to let ride for a little bit longer.
If you choose that option, Chatzky recommends diversifying the types of stocks you invest in and try not to panic when the market goes down. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
NVIDIA is working to produce AI supercomputers entirely in the U.S. The company announced plans to build manufacturing space in Arizona and Texas. NVIDIA's Blackwell chips have started production at plants in Phoenix. Meanwhile, the company is building a supercomputer factory in Houston and Dallas. NVIDIA says it plans to produce up to $500 billion of AI infrastructure in the U.S. within the next 4 years.
You've probably heard that Canadian tourism to the U.S. has dropped. What's surprising is by how much. In March, the number of Canadians driving across the border into the U.S. dropped a staggering 32% over the same time last year. Air traffic for visitors also plummeted 13.5%. The U.S. Travel Association warned in February just a 10% drop in Canadian tourism would cost the U.S. about $2 billion. This follows 2 years of growth in inbound tourism. Canadians historically make up about a quarter of that, making them the largest cohort of foreign visitors to the U.S. Now let's get over to our WFT First at 5 anchor Bailey Cornick with a look at what's coming up at First at 5 on Channel 5.
Protesters are gathering outside of the Gainesville-Matheson History Museum this evening. They plan to demand more protection from the school board against ICE policies. And we're also taking a look at ICE policies at the university level. The deportation of a Colombian UF student made national headlines recently, and we're tracking the latest. And after a long debate, the Alachua County School District and Teachers Union have agreed on a new contract. All of this and more on First at 5.
Before we go, one last check on the weather.
With that front passing over tonight, temperatures dropping tomorrow, staying sunny for the rest of the week, looking ahead to a beautiful Easter and some showers next Tuesday.
Thanks for joining us for WFT Midday. We're back here tomorrow for another edition.
We will see you later today for First at 5 on Channel 5. Have a great afternoon.